Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. It is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, and in this video I do a daily stock recap of the stocks that we cover on our Sunday night video, and today it will be Apple, Tesla, Palantir, GameStop, AMC, and I'm also going to do a bonus stock today that was just absolutely going bonkers. And so, today was sort of an interesting day. I felt like a lot of the stocks that showed weakness this past week sort of made a comeback, and it could just be a dead cat bounce. So starting with Apple, we talked about this sort of triple top level here on my 15-minute chart at 145, and so we sort of retraced probably about a good, 10%, a little less than 10% of the move, and then we've sort of we mentioned in our previous videos this sort of 130 dab play where we would just go light if we were to add shares onto Apple, and then we have sort of a heavy add here at 127.50. So it seems like we've recovered a few dollars here the last couple of days. It was pretty much flat today, trading pretty much in a tight range. I think the range was like not even that, like less than $2. So it was kind of a boring day for Apple. I didn't trade it today. There was really nothing much, but again, I still expect potentially that we could, trade within this range, but I'd like to see another bounce and validation of 130. And if that holds, then yeah, the 127.50 may not come. And what we may see is the 50-day intersecting the 127.50 or the 130, excuse me, and having that as our solid support. So don't be surprised. Again, I've been doing calls once we see these flushes and selling them as we sort of make a recovery. So nothing really that exciting there. But this type of doji, is basically showing you some indecision between the buyers and the sellers, right? So it's really indecisive of where Apple can go. So I'm more on the bearish side for now, just considering the fact that we were trading at all-time highs. And so that being the case, I'm a little more on the bearish side. And like I said, I'd like to see us validate the 130 before we understand that maybe we won't get the 127.50. Okay. And then for Tesla, I mean, just a monster stock. There were some upgrades today. It did have a recall in the pre-market. It had this sort of tank. I forget when the news came out, but it was pre-market. It came out that it was recalling about 130,000 cars, but you can just see it fully recovered. I mean, this is a very impressive move. I mentioned that seeing this 50-day and being more on the bearish side now that we had crossed over the 20-day average, which we really never did from the S&P news, that I was a little more on the bearish side, and to go from 795 yesterday to go to a high of, you can clearly see this top here at 880. It's been a clear resistance. I mean, that's just a very impressive move. So I expect definitely tomorrow, possibly a retrace up here in the 840 area, but definitely it looks like Tesla wants to get right back up here at the top of the band, which is 900, which is very impressive. It just shows you how unpredictable the stock is. One article comes out, and unlike a lot of stocks, some articles don't even affect the stock. That this is just prone and just clear. And I'm happy. I know a lot of people are Tesla long. I mentioned I'm a long Tesla, but I would dab play at 795, 780, but I would definitely go heavy if we can get into the 695, 700 area. So let's see how that plays out. Like I mentioned, I see a channel forming, so we should be consolidating. I was thinking between 6 to 700, and I may have to adjust that just depending on how we trade tomorrow. But like I said, I could still see some bearish sentiment, but the fact that we're back in the high 8s as fast as we got there is really impressive. Usually when the earnings come out and let's just say they don't necessarily meet expectation, there's some type of unwind. But again, going from 900 all the way down to 780 is a pretty significant move. So let's just see how that plays out. And going on to Palantir, I actually traded Palantir today mainly because it was becoming into the price levels we've identified. We've mentioned 32s, we've mentioned 29.50, and we mentioned going heavy at 27.50 as our dab play. So today we got up down to $30.50. That was the low for today. And so again, you can see that every morning there seems to be this sort of dump in Palantir, and there was really no sort of bounce until right over here at 7:30. So we had an hour essentially of the stock tanking, and we got all the way down to $30.50. So once you see a green candle that sort of almost pretty much engulfed the previous candle, then you could get comfortable getting at least in that position. And so getting in here at the $30.50, perfect retrace. I actually went heavy today, and I ended up going back to the selling calls, which is anytime we sort of pump up, we sell those calls, and then as we flush down, we cover them. And so I call it the covered cover calls. It's a very unusual strategy. Not a lot of, I don't think I've ever heard anyone use it, But a lot of people do covered calls to protect a certain price point. For me, when I see that something's overextended or it's retracing, I sell them, of course, out of the money, and then I buy them back. And so I can do that multiple times, which was awesome. That was my main play today. So I'm gonna actually hold Palantir because I want to see a retrace back to 34.35. I don't think this was much of a move. I think we got a real good bottom here. Again, there's still obviously more downside, but knowing that the earnings is just 10 days away, I expect, with 4 daily candles red, that we'll definitely see a bounce. And like I said, I'd like to see at least 34.35 before I sell my shares. So I will be holding on to them until we can get there this week. GME, like expected, guys. I've said this several times. It's a gamble. It was a gamble play. I never once told you I traded it. However, I did mention that I was selling puts out of the money. I have not done that since this move over here. I believe this is when I covered my last puts, which were way down here. And because it was so expensive, I just decided to stay away. And, I mentioned that there'd be a lot of people making money, but there'd be a lot of people losing money. And I don't think that, should become to a surprise. Again, if you were here, buying at 320 and now you have a $100 stock, which we knew it was coming back down. Just a lot of people, they get an adrenaline rush. They love these types of plays. That's great, but not necessarily for me. So again, just as expected, we have this bounce and we could consolidate, possibly get back up to, maybe 200. But the range that I see now is that we get back, and, it's just, it's difficult because I feel like there's just gonna be a lot of back holders up here, right? So you're always, as you move up, you're now gonna have all this selling pressure now that people know that the stock's not going to 1,000, right? So I was wrong with the stock when we said that it wouldn't get to 150 again when it was able to, but again, it's just not my play. I do cover it because it's of interest, but Robinhood raised it, I think, to 100 shares today. You can trade 100 shares. It's such garbage. I did post it on my Instagram that there's a reason why I pay commission to my broker. And so if you're someone who has a free commission broker and you get these types of cuts where you can't trade, maybe time to think about changing brokers, because these are the types of things that they do. And they also don't tell you how they make money, which is selling your trades and giving you terrible fills, right? I always tell people the analogy, it's like me going to the supermarket, and instead of going directly into the store, I'm paying a middleman outside the store to go in there and find me that product and then come back, versus me going directly into the market and buying it myself, which is a lot faster, quicker, and easier, right? So when you have someone, you got to pay that middleman, and that's what you do when you get a free commission broker. All right, guys. AMC, I mean, just great play. Same thing, sold the puts. I mentioned $8 was a solid level, and it was interesting that we actually retested 6. It's just this drama with all the brokers and not being able to trade. I mean, as soon as that came out that a lot of that was being lifted, it just went right back up to that $8 level, and it seems like it's been holding well. You can see it's trading around 8. So we've really been sort of in a consolidating range between 7 and 8. I'm not, too worried. Like I said, if you get bag hold any AMC calls, if you're someone who's bag holding, let's say 10, 15, wherever you're at with their AMC shares, please do a covered call at least the price that you sold it at. You can sell them 1 or 2 weeks out, and literally people will pay you $200, $300, $400, $500 to just hold on to those shares for them. And so that way you're at least making money on what you have while you wait for this thing to sort of play out, which, again, the fact that we've bounced off a 6 twice, that's a great sign. I could definitely see this thing getting back into the teens. And like I said, reclaiming some of this loss that we went from essentially 14 down to 8. So I can see some of that coming up tomorrow. But again, you can tell that a lot of these stocks are just basically momentum plays and just overextended plays, and eventually we could see this thing go back to $4. But again, it's AMC. Movie theaters aren't going anywhere, and they're going to be coming back, and they're going to be coming back strong. Now, the one play I did want to go over that is just it's a video. It's a perfect example, and I love this play. I absolutely love this play. It's Sava Sciences. If you've been trading for a while, this was actually a $2 stock last summer. And so I heard the news this morning. I didn't think much of it. I was just so distracted. It happens again. You're so distracted. And I heard the news. It was actually paused for trading in the pre-market. So you couldn't trade it because they halted it for news. And all of a sudden I checked this and I was like, whoa, like what a move, right? We talked about this video, and you should check out my shorts video about the short squeeze. And this is a pattern that we're seeing over and over again. And so I actually came in right at the right time. I didn't come in here. I came in right around these candles when I saw the engulfing candle, right? That shows now that we've hit the top and we have an engulfing candle, and now we're starting to sell off. And this was literally a perfect chart. And so I started shorting right up here in the 65s with the retracement, knowing that we were going to get down back to VWAP, which was around 55. So I was like, this is a 9-point move. And then what was really fun was, guys, don't just be a one-sided bias trader. Don't just go, well, it's up 200%, I got a short. That's not the case. We talked about in the shorts video, right? Look for the failure, look for the retest, look for the failure again. And once you are, your conviction rate is really high, well, guess what? I was looking for the trap, right? So as soon as we get below VWAP and there's shorts coming over here expecting this thing to fail, guess what I did? I switched to a long position. And so I bought a small size here. It's at the end of the day, I got a lot of things going on. I don't want to get stuck too much in the stock, but essentially switch positions here. We've seen this pattern over and over again. And guess what? It's from $51. Right now it's trading around 58. So if you were long and you knew where to get in long, which is right below the VWAP in the short trap where people think that stock's going to tank and then they get trapped, that's a 7-point move in a matter of 15-20 minutes, right? That's a 7-point move. That could have just been your one trade for the day. If you're a long bias trader, that was what you would be looking for, is this short trap, okay? So that's just something I wanted to just go over. Again, if you haven't already, check out that short video I did on how to short stocks. It does go over all this. It does give some examples similar to this, but I just thought it was interesting that we saw another example today. So with that said, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys had an awesome trading day, and I wish you guys always the best. Take care. Bye-bye.